Welcome back and thank you for tuning in. Today's topic, more boring stocks that make you money. In this case, good old AT&T. Now, Tom had some elaborate opening to put in here, but I, of course, didn't write it down and completely forgot what he wanted to do. But I assure you, it was mildly humorous.
Hey man, I will take mildly humorous as a step in the right direction. Unlike some of the trolls that we've had.
We had someone comment recently in one of our videos who said, "You are the chosen one," and I clicked out. Seems like a cliche show for 9-year-olds. The chosen one? Like Anakin?
You were the chosen one!
Or Neo? How does that even mean? I'm pretty sure this guy didn't even watch a single video, but man, you people shouldn't pump up Tom's ego like that. It causes so many problems for me.
You know what I think it is? He's probably one of those closet fans who watches us in private, like those parents who actually like My Little Pony or Bluey. Come on, man. Brian!
Wow, you shouldn't go after the bronies like that, man.
Wait, you don't think they're gonna like pitchforks me?
That's a sin. That's a sin to go after My Little Pony. I'm telling you.
He is.
Polyp, Pancake 206, whatever, however you pronounce that.
Sounds like a colonoscopy problem.
Polyps. If you don't like what we're doing, go ahead and put yourself out there. You know, show us your portfolio. We'd love to learn from you.
Yeah, we don't claim to be the chosen ones or to be perfect. We do claim, though, that we know what we're doing and we want to help people. And just because somebody trolls us, get in line. We're going to keep going anyways. Regarding the AT&T story, behind their stock instability in the last few years, it had a lot to do with how much, like Anali Capital, they were diluting their shares, as well as the ballooning debt that is basically consuming their cash flow faster than someone coming off a diet gains weight.
What the hell does that mean?
Nothing.
What's wrong with you?
There are a number of reasons for this. Aging infrastructure, the Warner Brothers failure, their bonds. There's so many bonds.
There are. Now, if you're not familiar with who AT&T is, you probably don't live in the United States because they're everywhere. For nearly a century, they dominated the telco and internet service space with very little competition. They originated from Bell Systems, and in 1982, the antitrust lawsuit broke them up into many smaller companies, so-called baby bells. AT&T kept long distance and national services, and the smaller bells controlled the regional businesses. This was fine until they invented cable broadband, and AT&T did not evolve with the changing times, at least not quick enough.
So that's not even on the script. You like know a lot about this.
Well, yeah, I lived through it, man.
Hey, I lived through it too.
You're like, what, 2 months old?
Hey, I was a smart 2-month-old. I was telling them to sell that stock, that they shouldn't buy it, and nobody seemed to understand. Probably because I couldn't speak English, but nobody understood me. I was smart. I was trying to tell them not to buy it.
This is why I tell you not to feed his ego. And it's been that way to this very day. The antitrust breakup wasn't the only problem that AT&T had at the time, though.
No, it wasn't. Just after all this happened, people suddenly had a choice of carriers if they were having problems with AT&T. That prevented the company from simply raising rates every time they needed to spend money on something, which fundamentally shifted the burden of who's going to pay for the repairs to their aging infrastructure right around the time the cellular boom took place.
At the time, the infrastructure was still in relatively good shape. So AT&T instead capitalized on the upcoming cell phone business.
Yep. We've been around long enough to remember what it was like before GPS.
The corporate pivot to cellular was a very good idea on AT&T's part. AT&T was the exclusive provider of the iPhone during its inception, and this device was so popular that it played a major role in bringing down BlackBerry. Not that BlackBerry needed any help.
No, they didn't. I had a BlackBerry.
I did too.
I remember what that was like.
It was It was great. The tactile buttons.
And the Bez servers.
Those beautiful Bez servers.
No, not beautiful Bez servers.
Well, AT&T then took this money and tried to compete with the cable industry through acquisitions. Warner Brothers, DirecTV, among others, and probably a few yachts along the way.
There's also NAFTA.
Oh God, don't get me started on NAFTA. NAFTA was, a brainchild, good idea, maybe for getting businesses to go through the United States through Mexico. But anyway, what it did
was it encouraged companies to just outsource their businesses and manufacturing to Taiwan and China and other places, Hong Kong. And the biggest one was support. Like AT&T support went to India. And so you called AT&T and you want to get your thing fixed and you get Bob on the other hand. It was not Bob. No, his name was not Bob. Mike from Miami. And then you couldn't understand who knows coming out of the man's mouth.
Okay, I'm done.
I can remember calling AT&T to fix my DSL circuit in 2006, and I couldn't get anybody to come out. The signal to noise ratio was basically to the point where the internet was unusable, and they wouldn't fix it until it was completely unfunctional. So in IT, I was working in IT at the time, and this was happening all over the country. All of our customers, all the people that I knew, and the whole time this was taking place, while AT&T is off doing their cell phone thing, the infrastructure that laid the foundation for the company was basically getting neglected.
Man, why are you such a nerd? Nobody cares about your signal to noise ratio.
Said the IT guy.
Yeah, but I don't exude nerdness.
Oh, the IT guy does not exude nerdness. Okay, let's go with that one, folks.
I play hockey. What do you do?
Play piano.
Oh, nerds! Nerds!
It's a good piano. I play the old rugged cross. Out of tune. Anyways, from around 2010 until now, anytime something happened with their traditional business lines they did not have cash for, they would issue shares, take out a bond, basically get into a little bit more debt to pay for it because of how tight their margins were. This was due to quite a few reasons, up to including their huge dividend. Huge dividend.
Don't say it like that. Man, I don't like it when you talk about their huge dividend. It just seems dirty when you do it.
Come on, Brian. It's like, it's like the pool. They had some shrinkage issues when they came out of the pool in 2020 after COVID.
I'm really sorry.
We're just gonna skip this part. There's something wrong with you. Okay, go.
Oh, now he wants me to go. Okay, fine, I'll go. Let's ignore the pool shrink. That's a problem for men, Brian. Anyways, the debt balloon also. Why is that a problem? I need to go. Okay. So the debt balloon also happened with their push for the cloud fiber and all three acquisitions. But it's the pool, Brian.
You need to leave the pool alone, man. Get away from the pool.
That's right. You do need to get away from the pool.
I don't understand. There was shrinkage.
Anyways, so the debt balloon also happened with just about anything else that they were trying to spend money on. The cloud, fiber, all those acquisitions, so many acquisitions, many of which ended up being a net negative for cash flow, like the Warner Brothers thing. How do I know this? Well, I've personally held stock since 2006, and I started paying really close attention after the recession in 2008. As a holder personally and in our own portfolio, we wanted to know if AT&T is finally overcoming the debt burden that has plagued them for so long.
After some digging, we found their investor report with some information that we feel that you would benefit from. Now, if you'd like to find this information, you can. No, you can, but it's just really difficult. I don't know why they hide it. You got to go to AT&T.com. Then you got to scroll all the way to the bottom. You click newsroom, not investors. There's nothing that says investors. It's newsroom. And when you click on that, it brings up another page that at the top will have a link to investors. You click on that, that'll take you to the investor reports. Then you click on the report that you want. Or You can simply type investors.at&t.com. I don't know why they make it so difficult.
Why didn't you just tell them that?
You gotta know my plight before you get to the easy thing.
Oh man, dude.
Feel my pain, people.
So with that said, here's what we see in the report that we feel you would benefit from. First of all, when you're looking at it, you're going to notice some pretty big differences between adjusted earnings per share and diluted earnings per share. Now, diluted earnings per share comes out as a negative 0.03. Now, if you're not really familiar with how these metrics work, the main difference between one and the other is diluted is a GAAP measurement and adjusted is not a GAAP measurement. Now, we'll put this up on the screen for you to kind of see the differences. For our sake, without getting into all of the minutia of it, we prefer the diluted earnings per share because it includes things like outstanding shares, warrants, that kind of thing. So most analysts prefer that. Well, I can't say that. Most analysts prefer that as well for the same reasons. So that gives you more of a comprehensive view of what's actually happening with the business. Beyond the diluted earnings per share problem that we see here, we see a couple of other things that we think you would be interested in. First of all, they are killing it in wireless. They had a 403,000 net adds on the postpaid phone systems. Their broadband revenue is up, and then overall, with all the debt and everything that they've got, their net income, which wasn't unexpected, dropped from $3.8 billion last year to basically $100 million this year.
Ouch.
Yeah, they're not having a good time. Now, they did say that they were going to be trying to pay down their debt, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we're talking in this video. So we saw that on their balance sheet here, you can see that about 5 months ago, or five months? Goodness.
5 quarters.
5 quarters, how about that? So 5 quarters ago, they were at about $138 billion of debt, and now they've reduced that to $129 billion, which, you know, seems pretty good. They are paying that down. However, there's a problem. The stock about a year ago it's grown 45% since then. So their outstanding shares grew by 24 million shares. So while they may be paying down their debt, the investor equity and everything else that's happening with the business is basically making this happen at a snail's pace. That said, on a positive note, mobility services grew 4%. And the services margins expand by 150 basis points. Now, for those of you who don't know what a basis point is, basically it's 1/100th%. So 150 basis points equals 1.5%. You'll hear that about the Fed when they lower rates. It's the same measurement. So moving on down the line, page 6, we can see the we're IT guys, so I noticed this right away. But the lower customer support and network related costs. They were doing some layoffs. They're trying to get some operational efficiency in there. And honestly, in 2006, this was the support rant that Brian went off on. We hope that you continue to keep the efficiency there, but keep your people. Customer support actually matters. That's what will keep your customers. So good lower customer support, but we don't want to see that translate into actual the service quality itself.
Right. Doing more with less is great for the bottom line, but not great for actual customer service.
Yes. So keep your customers, keep the customer support there, especially people that you understand.
And not the robots. No more AI, please.
Yes. Further on the report, we see that the Latin American segment became profitable year over year. That's a pretty big deal. Last time they did a report on this, it was negative $29 million. Now they are, these are razor thin margins, but they are now profiting $10 million.
Well, this paints a picture of a company who isn't out of the woods yet. Increasing subscribers is great, increasing revenue, also great, but doing so at the cost of share dilution and barely inching out of their debt dilemma paints a picture that this company still has a ways to go. That said, we aren't looking to sell AT&T right now, even though they're up 45% in our portfolio. Historically, they tend to peak out around $30 to $35 a share, so they may still have some upward trajectory.
At least that's what we think. The dividend itself, it looks like they can service the dividend, and also looks like they can service their debt with the growth that they've had in their wireless segment. So as far as selling the stock, we're not really interested in selling it at this point. We also feel that the income that we're generating from the business itself is a positive metric. So if the market crashes, there's been a bubble that's been going on for the past year and a half. So whenever that happens, if AT&T stock goes down with it and all these other numbers look pretty good along with the market crash, so the price goes back down to about where it was a year ago, maybe 3-4% more than that, we would be looking at buying them seriously. Again, right now though, we're just going to be sitting on the gains and collecting our happy dividends. So we hope that with all this information, you found this valuable and somewhat mildly humorously entertaining.
Thanks for coming. I hope you thought it was fresh.
For a review of AT&T stock, so if you like what you see, please subscribe, like below, and tell us if you would like to add this to our portfolio, if you would do it. Tell us why. If you think we're wrong and you tell us we shouldn't do it and we should sell, we'd like to hear that below as well. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.
Except you, Pancake206. We're watching you.
Do you think he's going to watch again?
I don't know. Maybe. I think he's just a one-hit wonder. That was a drive-by shooting right there.
All the trolls.
Drive-by commenting.
They're all one-hit wonders. All of them.
I think that guy was. I think he's a drive-by commenter.
He's probably a competing YouTube channel. It's like, gosh darn it, I'm taking my views. That's not how YouTube works, people.
Wait, I think this is still recording. Oh, sorry, bye guys.
Love you.
Love you.